Hello fish lovers and welcome to my channel. I'm going to be starting a fresh new video series that I'm going to set up from the beginning, from scratch, from zero, a freshwater tank. I'm going to show you guys how you can set it up, how to clean the substrate, how to maintain the tank, how to wait for the tank to cycle. I'm going to explain you a little bit of the nitrogen cycle, about denitrifying bacteria, and everything you need to know for setting up a freshwater aquarium the correct way. So let me show you the tank. For this series, guys, I'm going to be using this Juwel tank. It's an Juwel Rekord 600. It can take about 60 liters of water. I'm going to show you step by step how to set this tank up and how to get started with freshwater aquariums. Let's move on. Next step is to add aquarium substrate. You can see it right here. Also bought from the pet store. It's a different grain size, as you can see, larger pieces and smaller grain size. This works best for planted aquariums. The substrate does not have to have a large grain size. You don't have to use pebbles in your tank, and also you do not want to use really fine sand, because that will not work for planted aquariums. It will not allow a good water circulation between the sand. And this one, the cheapest one you can find in the pet store, it's the best one to have. Like I said, in here there are, I think, two types of substrate. First, I have bought the one that you see it here in color, and the smaller one with no color. It's just plain old river sand, which works best for planted tanks. So even if you bought this from the pet store, you still have to clean it really good until the water in the bucket remains clear, and after that you can put the substrate carefully inside your new aquarium. So let's go ahead and clean this up. I'm going to use my shower head and some water, of course. And I'm going to do this until the water remains clear. As you can see, guys, the water is not that cloudy because I already cleaned this sand and used it in my previous tanks, and this is why my job is going to be really easy. But when you first buy this from the pet store, you will see that the water will be really cloudy. You will definitely need to rinse the sand really good. Mine is already clean, as you can see, it's looking good. I'm going to do this 3 or 4 or 5 times, and after that, this substrate will be ready to put in the tank. Just remember, guys, never use soap or other detergent. Just use plain water. It's the only way to do it, with plain water. The first thing I done, guys, is I cleaned the glass of the tank. I cleaned the sides. I added a background. It's also an Juwel background. I did clean the filter housing, and now I'm going to clean the sponges that are going to be sitting here. And this is important. Every filter media you have to rinse with just plain old tap water. So let's go ahead and do that. Because I have bought this tank from the pet store not with 40% but with 50% off, I didn't have any filter media and no heater, but unfortunately I have those. I have a thermometer, I have a heater, and I have bought some Juwel filter media, some Bio Plus coarse sponge. It fits in here very good, like so, and another finer sponge, standard, but this one is bigger, so I had to cut it up. It also fits very well. And on the top here, because like I said guys, I used to own another Juwel tank, and on the top of the filter it had some filter wool, which I have in here a lot. Filter wool from Sarah. So I'm just going to top this up with filter wool, and I'm going to replace this filter wool every week or every 2 weeks, depends on what kind of fish I'm putting here, just like I was doing with my Juwel Rio 240. And right now I'm just going to give those sponges a good rinse with tap water, and I'm going to set them inside the filter. So I'm going to put the coarse sponge first. I'm going to push it all the way down into the sponge, into the filter housing, and after that, let me see if I push it all the way down. Still some room left. Yeah, now it's good. And right now I'm going to put the sponge with the smallest holes on top, like so. And now I'm going to add some filter wool on top of the sponges. So there you have it, a piece of wool. I'm just going to fold it in half, and this will filter most of the particles in the water, and it will give me a crystal and good quality water. I'm going to stuck this in here. Okay, so there you have it, absolutely perfect. The water is going to flow to the finer filter wool and then the finer sponge, and after that it's going to flow to the coarse sponge, and the resulting water will be exiting the filter from here. Let me attach the pipe that was here, and also let me attach the power head. This is the power head, an Juwel EcoFlow 300 liters an hour, very low wattage. Anyway, it's pretty small tank. You see the gasket here, it has to connect with that side. Let me go ahead and do that. Like I said, I do not have the original heater, but this what brand is this? Reason, I think. Anyway, this 100 watt heater will do the job. I set this heater to 26 degrees, and I'm going to jam this in here. Really careful not to break the heater. Look at that. That's perfect. I'm going to put the hose in the back of the tank, like so. And now I'm just going to put the cover on. Alright, so my filter is complete and ready to go. Now it's time to add the substrate to this tank. After I have cleaned the substrate and rinsed it really good in warm tap water. until the water remains clear. I'm going to try to level it all around. Going to try to cover all the spaces. Okay. Let me just put the whole bucket in here. I'm just going to level the sand to be evenly spread in the tank. I'm going to keep a larger amount of substrate in the back of the tank because this is the place where I'm going to add some plants later on. Let me just give you a quick tip, guys, because I see a lot of confusion on Facebook and on forums. If your tank has a plastic rim like this, you do not have to put anything between the tank and the stand or the table or wherever you're putting the tank. Just be sure to have a really steady table or stand to put your tank. It has to be steady, straight and true. And I repeat, if your tank has this safety rim, this is how it's called, a safety rim, you do not have to put anything between the glass, between the aquarium and the stand. I do have a hose that I can use, guys, but because this is an absolute beginner's guide, I'm going to use the old-fashioned way of carrying water with a bucket. It's time to fill up the tank. I have brought my bucket with some warm water. I don't use cold water because of the condensation that can appear on the outside of the tank. I just put a plate in there not to disturb the substrate too much. So let's go ahead and fill this tank up. This bucket is a little too full. This tank has a water line. Water level should be between those two red lines, but I'm not going to fill this up right to the line because I am going to add some driftwood and some plants from my bigger tank, and the water level is going to rise. I'm just going to remove the plate now. Now it's time for a little aquascaping. I hope this piece of driftwood is not too big to be placed in here. You can put in the tank plants or wood that you got from the pet store, but do not add any fish yet, guys. So let's check this out. Alright, I like it. It looks okay. I'm going to add some plants from my big tank. So let me go ahead and do that. So I got some plants from my big tank. This one has a baby. I don't really know their names, but I'm going to add them in here. So, making sure that the water level is where it has to be. Now I'm ready to put the lid on and plug everything in. There you have it, guys. Everything is plugged in. The filter is working. The lights are working. It's a very quiet tank. You can't really hear that it's working, which I like. And this is how to start with a freshwater tank. And now you do not have to add fish, guys. If you already bought the fish from the pet store, you can take them back if the pet store will let you, or you'll just have to do a 10-15% water change every day with dechlorinated water. You can dechlorinate water very easily. You just let the tap water sit in a bucket overnight, and chlorine will just evaporate out of the water. You don't have to put any chemicals in. And you'll have to, if you have fish, you have to do a water change every day with 10 or 50% water, because ammonia is going to rise in the tank and very possibly it could kill your fish. So if you make it this far, guys, and you do not have any fish, you will just have to wait until the tank will cycle. In my case, because I added plants and I added that driftwood from my already cycled tank, this tank in here is going to cycle much faster, because denitrifying bacteria needs to grow and take over the space in the filter media, and that will happen over time. Right now the water looks okay, looks clear, but it's going to become milky white, and that will go away after some days. It depends on what's in the tank and how well you rinse the substrate. So I'm just going to give you guys, beginner guys in fish keeping, some tips to help you along with your journey with your aquarium. Never turn off your filter, your power head. Let that one run 24/7, and after you set the temperature on your heater, do not turn off your heater. Let it run 24/7, because aquatics life requires constant conditions that do not change. If you are constantly changing the temperature or the water quality, fish do not like that. They will get sick very fast and die. Be careful with the light. You do not have to keep the light on 24/7. Right now I have no fish, but I have plants. I'm going to keep the light on just a couple of hours a day, because having too much light from the beginning, it will create a green water, you can Google on that, and an algae bloom. Also, algae could grow very fast on the front of the glass, You have to really keep an eye on the tank. Do not let the light on too long. Use a timer, put the lights on a timer, and I will start with only 3 or 4 hours of light every day, even if you have plants, just to avoid the algae that will grow on the beginning because the tank is not cycled. Be sure to check out the next episode, guys, where I'm going to talk about when to add fish and when you can see that your tank is cycled. More on that next time. Have a great day, guys, and happy fish keeping. Bye.